Hi, very good evening to the folks present on the webinar. Extremely sorry we are late by a minute. Thanks for joining on time. Today we are going to have a joint webinar between Emids and PCloud, and the topic for the webinar would be assuring quality at speed for the apps with respect to the healthcare industry. Quick introduction of speakers. Myself, Suraj. I'll be your moderator for this webinar. We have Krishna Prasad Balasundaram, who is the head QA and automation from Emids. Krishna Prasad has been a quality assurance practice leader with over 15 years of experience, and he has been instrumental in setting up the automation process in several organizations with respect to the banking and healthcare industry. We have Nilesh Tarale, who heads the pre-sales for PCloud. Nilesh has been having 14 years of vast experience in the software development and testing per se, and he's been instrumental in working with both product and services companies, and has got a lot of experience in this industry. Over to the next slide. Quick run through to the agenda. So we'll be covering today the introduction to PCloud and Emids and our partnership, and then we will be covering the digital transformation in the healthcare industry. Post that, we will be touching upon why do we need mobile app testing in the healthcare industry and what's the life cycle and the need for a device infrastructure. And then we'll be touching based upon the features of the PCloud solution, followed by a case study. So we have 60 minutes for the webinar, on which the last 10 minutes would be utilized for the Q&A session. Attendees could actually post questions in the chat window, and that would be taken up towards the last. Handing on the session to Nilesh.
Hey, thanks, Suraj, for giving a brief and setting the right context and giving the agenda here. I would like to welcome all the participants once again, and very good morning, good afternoon. Let's move on to the next slide to see what exactly PCloud is all about. I just wanted to give a quick brief about PCloud, what exactly we do at PCloud. Right, so in a nutshell, PCloud is all about mobile device cloud test platform. We have mobile devices connected to this cloud platform, and then you can access these devices remotely to do testing, different kind of testings, and you can test different kind of applications on this particular platform. And what are all different kind of applications you can test on this platform? You can actually test the applications like native applications, hybrid applications, mobile web applications, and PWA applications, which is what the market is chasing up right now. So all these kind of applications you can do the testing on this particular platform, and you can do a whole lot of different kind of testing. And what different kind of testing you can do typically here is you can do the manual application testing, the way typically you do with the device in hand. The only difference with this PCloud is all about you're accessing the device remotely. You can also do the test automation. So basically, when I say test automation, it means you can execute your existing test automation cases on PCloud devices on multiple devices parallelly. Now, parallelism is the key here. It will save a whole lot of time. It will save indeed the time to market to your application. The next thing is about device analytics. Now, when I say device analytics, I'm talking about the when you are looking for a specific application to be launched in a specific country or a specific region, you should be knowing what devices I should be testing my applications on. So we provide you the finite set of list of devices on which you should be testing your application for a given region. Right, so that is what the device analytics we are talking about, and that's what you are going to get it from here. The last thing which we have here is in-field UX testing. In our opinion, even before the application gets launched in the market, even if it is completely tested, it should be tested in the real market by the real users on their real devices by the crowdsourced engineers, because you are going to get the UX kind of testing done in a real time, and you will get the feedback beforehand, even before you release the market application in the market. So all these things you can do it at PCloud. It's a single-stop shop where you can do everything. This platform can be accessed in two different ways. One is, of course, through a standard web browser. The second one is, of course, through certain plugins which we have for Android Studio and Xcode. This is typically used by the developers and white box test engineers through plugins, and most of the test engineers are using it through web applications. So there are three predominant offerings which we have. The first and foremost is about public cloud. Now, when I talk about public cloud, it's the cloud which is accessed globally by the different customers across the globe. And in public cloud, you will get 5,000 plus real device browser combinations, which we have. We do have devices with real operator streams. We have our devices spread across three different locations in the globe, like we have our data centers in India, US, and Australia. So you'll get all these offerings on a public cloud. The second offering which we have is on-premise cloud. It means, there are certain clients who do not want their applications to go outside their premises. So we have a cloud infrastructure. We have the hardware and software configuration with us. We will come with our cloud infrastructure within your premises, and then we set up that cloud mobile device cloud within clients' premises behind their firewall, and a dedicated cloud is set up for a specific client. That's what we are referring to on-premise cloud. And the last one we have is about private cloud. This is again a dedicated cloud which will be maintained by us in our own state-of-the-art data centers. And again, the clients will get access to the dedicated devices 24/7, and it is pretty much isolated from rest of the other customers. So these are the three different offerings which we have, and in a nutshell, we have seen what PCloud is all about. We are going to see a whole lot of things in the upcoming slides, but I would like to take a pause and hand over the control to KP for talking about more about Emids we have. So KP, over to you.
Sure. Thanks, Nilesh. So Emids is an organization which we've started in 1999, and we are in the industry for about 20 years. Our mission is primarily enabling healthcare organizations, on the digital transformation journey. So Emids is an organization that focuses completely on global healthcare, with at least 7 Fortune 500 clients that we work with. So we work with different areas within the healthcare industry. You can talk about payer organizations, provider organizations, pharma, clinical trial, biotech, and also multiple healthcare technology organizations. So we are, a global organization across US, UK, and offshore centers in Bangalore and Hyderabad. Our focus is completely on healthcare, and like I said, we work with multiple other healthcare organizations across the globe. So we are also rated as the major contenders in the digital transformation by Everest Peak Metrics. And to talk about a little bit on the partnership, Emids and PCloud, we are running into third year of our partnership journey. It has been a wonderful, successful partnership so far, and we had primarily built this partnership, in two parts. One is utilizing the PCloud platform for multiple healthcare customers, and also be a partnership in terms of a reseller as well. So this is how our partnership has been. We have engaged in the partnership journey so far. So Nilesh, over to you on next slides.
Yeah, thanks KP for giving a good introduction about Emids and giving a brief about what Emid does. All right, so coming to the core agenda here, where we are talking more about the growing demands in the healthcare industry for mobility. With the potential to enhance the patient engagement and care quality, mobile health is advancing by leaps and bounds. If you really look at the graph which is shown on the screen here, you can see the compound annual growth rate for 2015 to 20. We have shown certain graphs there. If you really look at it, the global health market is expected to reach $200 billion by 2020. That's what the statistics we have here, right? Now, with the mobile market compound annual growth rate of around 41%. So if you look at the graphs here, the mobile health sector that itself is catching up to 41% of the total revenue share. So if you see the way healthcare industry is progressing in the mobility, it's massive. It's massive, right? And if we just look at the glimpse of the member engagement for the applications when we are talking about the mobility again here, there are three factors here. The 69% of the patients, worldwide, globally, prefer using mobile health for after hours or even follow-up the appointments. 84% of the healthcare providers use mobile devices for post-discharge supports, and 96% of the healthcare organizations are using the mobile health, even have seen the growth in patient satisfaction. So basically, if you really look at it, the mobile health or other mobile applications for that matter is something which is growing rapidly in the healthcare industry. And all this uh, data which we are seeing it here is from the 2018 from the Accenture published this data. So when we are talking about healthcare and typically the mobile, now we know that the mobile is the most important aspect in the healthcare industry, and mobile testing becomes the most important aspect because of the data which we have seen a while ago. So the key challenges which we have are all listed here. We are going to see some of the key challenges here. But with respect to the apps from the healthcare, the key challenges which we have mentioned it here. Apart from that, there are two more very important things which we are seeing it here. While the medical apps are really improving in functionality and equipping healthcare providers with a slew of opportunities, the new challenges are still arising, right? Apart from these three couple of challenges which we have mentioned, there are a few more new challenges which are we are seeing in the market, and the major ones are lack of clearly defined interoperability and the gaps in the data protection, right? Now, if you really look at it, the interoperability or the data protection, of course, data protection is something which we are not really focusing more on PCloud, but interoperability and rest of the other key challenges which we have mentioned here. All these things are very, very important. All these challenges are something which we have to see whether we can actually, address those using PCloud or some other products. Now, since we are actually talking about PCloud, we will see all these things are actually, covered by PCloud. So if we move to the next slide here and see the life cycle of a project for a specific mobile application testing, you see we try to depict a picture here which will typically give a generic picture which will typically give the complete life cycle of a project or the applications here. So you can see it here. I mean, of course, it will vary based on organization to organization a little bit here and there, but yeah, predominantly this is how it will look like. So there is mind gaps and the business goals. That's the first, the inception of the idea. And after that, when we start working, like when we are either creating the wireframes or prototyping or UX designing, application development, backend if required, application testing on the target platforms, till the end, right from the beginning till the end, we have to validate each and every phase. Now, if we have to validate each and every phase, it is not only just the validation, we also need the right set of devices, right infrastructure to test each and every phase while we are developing, right? So if you really look at it, the wireframes, the UX UI things, and the application testing of target for the targeted platform, we will have to have the right set of devices. Right infrastructure is the key here, and that's what we are talking about when it comes to mobility. So we are going to see some of the things here. I mean, of course, I cannot take you through the entire product what we have, but we are going to see some of the key aspects which will actually address the challenges which we are looking for, which we have seen some time back. So I'm going to move from the slides to the browser, and I'll just quickly connect to the uh, pCloudy and show you the capabilities and the features which we have at pCloudy, which are typically addressing the challenges which we have seen sometime back. So one of the, by the time it gets through, manual testing is equally important at while you are developing the applications and before we release the applications. At the same time, automation is also pretty important. So we are going to see the manual part, we are going to see the automation part. Now, a couple of things which we are going to see it now is first about the device infrastructure. As we were talking about, the right device infrastructure is the key for any successful project in the mobility, typically for the healthcare industries. So we are going to see how we can actually get to see the right infrastructure. So if we just go to the devices page here, you can see a whole lot of devices. As I have mentioned that we have 5,000 plus device and browser combinations available on the cloud, and this is the way you can actually see. So it's a huge list of devices. You can keep scrolling down to look for a specific device of your choice. Now here we are not only providing you the devices alone. When I'm talking about the device infrastructure, it does not mean that we are just providing you the mobile devices remotely. We are equipping you not only with the devices, but a lot of other features which will bring in a lot of value adds to your normal functional testing, right? So first we are going to see about the manual testing and see how we can actually bring in the value to your existing test cases or test execution part. So just to acquire a device is pretty simple. You just need to come to any of the device. Let's say I can keep scrolling down to look for any specific device of my choice if I want. Let's say let's connect to Samsung J7 Prime, for example. So you just need to click on this available icon to acquire a device, and very soon you will be seeing the device on the screen. So once you acquire a device, you will be able to start working with that particular device. Yeah. So you can see now the device got acquired by me, and you will see the device in the center, and there are certain icons on the left and right hand side. These are the icons, or these are the features which we support at pCloud, right? So I'm just making it so you can interact with the device with the help of mouse. You can install the applications on this particular device. If you have a APK or AB files, you can actually install it directly from these devices, or you can very well install it from the application stores. You can go to, okay, I think, let me quickly open another window and connect to one more device. So in case you have an application where you have to test it on two different devices parallelly, if you have a mobile application, the healthcare application which uses certain data from on Bluetooth from the other patient's mobile, that can also be done. You can use two different uh, windows to connect to two different devices. So let me just connect to one more device because I need to put in a lot of details here to get into the Google Play Store. So I'm just coming here and installing something from this device. So I'm just going to Play Store and installing an application in healthcare apps. Let's take my healthcare and install. So this is the way you can install the application on the device. Now once the installation is done, you can actually open the application. typically the way you do the testing with the device in hand, in the same way you can actually do the testing here. We are just quickly see if the application is right. So you can see now the application got installed here, and we can start doing the testing on this particular application. Now, the way the value add which I'm talking about here is when you are doing the testing on this application, if you want to see the logs next to the device, you just come to the logs, click on the logs, and just, you know, start looking into the logs. We will start showcasing you the logs here. You can see the logs. You can pause, you can stop, you can delete, you can, you know, download the logs at any given point of time. Now, the best part here is not about this logs is, of course, you are getting it. We are also recording the logs in the background, and it will be available in the reports folder. But when you come to analysis and click on this button and select the application which is under test, now this is something which will give you a very vital information about the performance of the application. So as and when I work with the application, you know, you will start getting the performance metrics in terms of memory consumption, CPU consumption, network consumption, and the battery consumption. And all this data what you are seeing here is at the application level. So basically you can see how much you know, see memory is consumed by the application, and what is the CPU consumed by the application, what is the network consumed by the application, and the battery consumed by the application. So all these things, all this thing can be seen while you are doing a normal functional testing. So this is the biggest value add which we are talking about. Now, apart from that, you can actually change the location. I mean, if your healthcare application will start giving you the restaurant, maybe the healthcare centers around where you are, if you are in need of something, or if you are looking for some Ayurvedic hubs, or maybe, you know, the medical shops or something like that, you can actually change the location. You can just click on the location feature there, and just go and select any location on the earth, and, you know, you can just, let's say I'm clicking something from central Delhi. So once you click on the map, you will give the lat long information directly here, and you just set, and that particular thing goes here to the device. And then if your application is a location aware app, it will also, you know, start giving you the necessary results next to that particular location. So this is something which can be done. Apart from that, I mean, of course, you can do the network simulation. You can simulate different network conditions to see how your application behaves. You can toggle the Wi-Fi. You can do the Chrome debuggers. You can, you know, if you are having a mobile web app, you can also you know, test it on multiple browsers by doing the cross-browser testing. And you can also change the rotate the screen orientation in case your application does support in the landscape mode as well. Here in this case it does support, so you can actually do the testing. And then towards the end, if you find any defect on this, you can actually click on the screenshot. We will capture a screenshot which will be available next to the device, and then you can actually, you know, raise that particular defect straight in your Jira in case you are using. Of course, you can also edit the screenshot in case you want to show that, you know, maybe the font is not correct for my healthcare, for example. So you can just make it editable here, change the size, you can change the color, and then you can actually, you know, highlight the area which you want to showcase to your team, and then you can just save it with some name, maybe wrong title or font, whatever is your observation, and then you just confirm save. And once this is done, you can actually use the button collaborate to, you know, log the defect in Jira or GitHub. You have to log into your tool through PCloud, and when you click on that, you can actually get your own Jira, Slack, or GitHub interface. You can provide the summary description. You just choose to attach the entire logs and screenshots. When you log into this, you will show you the screenshots here, all the screenshots which you have captured and edited. You just click on the one which makes more sense to this particular defect, and then say log a bug. So this will raise the defect in straight your Jira. So this way you can actually do testing. Of course, we have not covered the entire features which we have, but mandatory features which will give you a value add is what we have seen it here. Once you are done with your testing, you can just click on release and click say okay. So we are going to also protect your data by doing the cleanup. We, even if you are not uninstalling the application, we are uninstalling the application, and then we can actually clean up the device. We reboot the device, and then only the device will be available for the next user. So the next user will not understand what the previous user has done on this particular device. Now, coming to the next part, before automation, I just wanted to quickly show about the device planner, the device analytics part, which I was talking about. So if you are actually targeting your application for any specific location, let's say you want to, targeting your application for the Australian region, and I want to know what devices I should be testing my applications with, then I should be coming to device planner, and you just go and select the country here to Australia or whatever country you are looking for, and then you go and see the market coverage. Let's say 100% market coverage I want, and when I calculate, you're going to get a list of devices which are typically used in the Australian region, with the device name, the OS platform, the OS version, and market penetration. So if I'm targeting for Android, for example, I should be first testing my application on Oppo R17 Pro, which has version 8.1, because if I do the testing completely on this device, I'm rest assured that I have covered 5.99% of the market in the Australian region. So you're going to get this very important, very vital, and very expensive data through PCloud, uh, to channelize your testing efforts in the right direction to get the maximum market penetration in the market. All right, so this data can be downloaded as well. You can actually get it for the different countries. Most of the countries are pretty much covered here. Now coming to the automation part, just to see quickly what kind of automations we have support here. So we have support for the open source test frameworks like Monkey, Espresso, Calabash, and APM. These are the open source test frameworks which you can actually use for your testing. I would like to take you to APM and show you how you can actually execute the test cases on multiple devices parallelly in order to save the execution time on multiple devices, and in order to also reduce the time to market for your application. So if you have the APM test cases already written with you and you want to execute those on PCloud, you can use your existing test code. You will have to just make small integration changes, very small, very minimal changes of 8 to 10 lines on your existing code, and you should be ready to execute that on PCloud. So I have the sample projects available here. I certainly cannot show you the automation running on the healthcare applications which our clients are using in order to save the data or protect the data there. So I'm just showing you a quick automation run from the sample projects which we have. So this is the sample project which we have using TestNG with Java on APM platform. So I have taken this particular thing from my sample project, and if I open the source code from here, which typically we call it runner.java here, you can see from the APM's perspective, we are calling this file as a driver because we are actually initializing the driver in this particular code. So you can see here I'm actually initializing a driver by passing the hub URL, which is device.pcloud.com, and APM hub cloud.w/hub. So this is the cloud hub URL which we have. So the integration efforts which I'm talking about, let's say it's your project, and you want to integrate your existing project on PCloud, then you have to add these lines of code which I have just highlighted just now. It is just 8 to 10 lines of code. Typically it is all about capabilities. When you want to execute it on PCloud, you have to authenticate yourself there. So you have to provide the username, you have to provide the API key, you have to provide the application name which you want to execute, run the automation on, the duration in minutes, for how long you want the device to be connected for each device. So that has to be in the minutes, and then of course you have to select either the devices based on the device manufacturer, device version, or device full name, and then the rest of the other activities capabilities are same as standard APM one. And then of course you have to initialize the driver. You do have a capability now. Of course, if you are choosing any of these three lines, 48, 49, 50, by device manufacturer, version name, or full name, you are actually choosing one single device. But if you pass a parameter here by using the annotations called parameters, and if you use testng.xml, because testng, when you are using, you can configure the complete parameters through testng.xml. So in this XML file, if you really look at it, I'm actually assigning some values to this device name as two different values. One is Samsung, one is Google. So I'm actually making it run on multiple devices parallelly. When I say Samsung and Google, it means it will go and fetch one device from Samsung, one device from Google, and then it will start executing on both the devices parallelly. So let me try giving it a run here. I'm just saying run as testng, and when I run it on this platform, you can see there will be a console shown on the Eclipse where you can see the logs in case you have added certain logs in the code. In your test cases, you will start seeing the logs over here. So this is how you can actually run the test execution on PCloud, and you can monitor the logs from here. But since the devices are remotely available, you cannot see what exactly is happening on the devices, right? But at PCloud, we have gone a step ahead. We have actually have a facility. You can actually go to the reports folder, and then on my active sessions, you will start seeing the devices which we have actually executed, or the test executed on those devices through Eclipse will start appearing it here. All right, so you can see now one device I'm still using for manual access, which I have not released, and then these are the two things which I have here, right? So I'm just trying to click on the live view session for the Samsung or Google. So let's click on the Google and then see what happens. When I click on this Google's live view, we will be taken to another window where you will start seeing the live view of that particular device, right? So you can remotely watch what exactly is happening on the device, the entire test flow, entire use case which is getting automated on the device. You can actually remotely see. You can see the execution has started. Now I can actually I cannot interact with the device because this is a video streaming. I cannot just interact with the device. I cannot give any inputs to the device. But if you want to do that, that is also pretty much possible. You just need to click on the right top side here, enable interaction, and then once this icon changes to this level, you should be able to give certain interrupts. Whatever interrupts you want to give it to the device, you can give it, which is not expected in the automation, but in case something is required, you can do that. Now I will not wait for the entire execution to get over in the interest of time, but you would have seen now how the test automation happens here. So what we will do is we will quickly go to the reports. I'll go to the all reports folder, and then we will show you what kind of reports we generate for the automation one. So you can actually get all the reports if you are using any reporting framework. The way you are getting the reports today, same way you can get the reports even when you are running it your test automation on PCloud. But in addition to that reports, we are also providing you certain other reports. Let me just quickly go and open here. These are the add-on reports which we provide. So the best part here which we provide as a part of add-on report are two things. One, uh, though you're writing your test cases for the functional workflow, we are actually creating, we are capturing the data for CPU, memory, battery, and frame rendering time for your test execution time. So whatsoever time your test execution is happening, we are capturing this CPU information, memory information. So all non-functional data, we are actually capturing and showing it here, right? So this is what you are going to get it as an add-on on top of the reports which you are generating on yourself. Also, we provide you the raw data which you can actually copy and use it in your existing frameworks. Towards the end, we are also providing you the logs and the videos. So we are providing you the video, session video, even for your automation. So you are not going to miss any single thing when it comes to statistics from PCloud. So with this, we have finished the automation part. Let me quickly go to the next part. Now I have something called Certifier. This is all we have from the autonomous testing point of view, right? So we have software bots who will do the testing on your applications without you writing a single line of code or with any manual intervention. You just need to come and select the application of your choice, and that's it. You have to provide the user credentials or test data in case you have any. You can provide whatever test data or user credentials typically your application needs while doing a manual testing or automation testing. Only that thing you'll have to provide it here, and then you just say run. After that, the platform will book 10 different devices and we'll do the testing on that, and then maybe you can see the report something like this. I would like to open the one which I have done for Emirates. I don't have anything from the healthcare as such here, but yeah, this is how the screenshot you will see for the summary of the reports, where you can see the performance. Basically, these bots, software bots, will do the testing on your application as if a manual test engineer does. So there are two bots, crash bot and the exploratory bot. So exploratory bot will understand how many screens your application has, how many logical workflows your application has, and will do the testing based on that. Crash test will simply do the crash part by running the monkey in the background and see whether your application is able to take the load on the screen. And in a jiffy, you are going to get the quick sanity done, and the health of your application can be found from here. So we will rate your application on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best and 1 being the worst, where you'll understand where exactly you are standing in the market as compared to rest of the competitors available in the market. So this is what you are going to get it as a healthcare, as a health of your application. Now, in this, we also have something called crowdsourced test, which is typically used by the most of the enterprises to test the UX about their application by the real users in the real market. So we do have, as I mentioned in the beginning, we do have one-stop shop where you can actually create a test cycle which can be done by the real users in the market in the different geographies. We have 3,000 plus test engineers associated with this platform who will be doing the testing on either their devices, or they can also use the PCloud devices if you want them to use that. So this is how you can actually use even this crowdsourced testing. And last but not the least, the entire platform. I mean, if you are using a CI/CD pipeline with your projects, you can also use CI/CD to execute your tests on PCloud devices through either Jenkins or Bamboo. These are the two tools right now we support. But yeah, ours is an API-based platform, so you can use any tool. You can connect, integrate with any tool, and you can achieve the CI/CD on PCloud. So with this, I would like to go back to the slide deck here and end my demonstration here. Maybe we'll be moving to the next slide, which talks about the use case or case study which we have. So I would like to give the control back to KP. Over to you,
Yeah,
KP.
thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Nilesh. It was such a wonderful demo on all the features. So talking about the case study, so this is an organization which is one of the largest healthcare organizations in the world, right? And specifically in US. So they are looking at getting the member engagement in a better shape. Wanted to take a better care to the market, and wanted to give a better care to the members, right? So that's the journey they wanted to get involved, and primarily wanted to adopt the digital transformation within the organization. So I'm going to talk about the challenges that the organization had faced, and how we had worked on the solution, and what we have delivered, what value we have delivered. And Nilesh, if you can go on to the next slide, please. Yeah. So, like I said, the client wanted to improve the member engagement, primarily, for enabling the lifestyle from an high-risk maternity and neo care perspective. And so they wanted to do an mobile-based, lifestyle for the high-risk maternity and neo care. and that's a journey they have started. And some of the risks they went through is like they wanted to quickly deliver it to the market. The challenges is like, the functionalities needs to be tested on multiple devices. The coverage needs to be achieved within a short period, and also wanted to make sure there is a better user experience, that the people can really access the application with all ease of use, and of course they want to deliver faster time to the market. So with these challenges, they've started developing the mobile platform. And what we had at that point in time decided is to look at, we would do and testing on real-time devices, but of course, we cannot really have an access to all the devices that's being used in the market, specifically in the US market. So that was a big challenge, and we also evaluated. We decided like, okay, we want to go with the device form, and we evaluated multiple device forms available in the market, the platforms available. So Perfecto is one of them, Amazon is other one, to name a few of it. And so we had analyzed and finalized that, pCloud is a platform that we want to go with the features that was available, with with a lot of other things they kept building. So we definitely like the platform. And from a security standpoint, because there's a lot of PHI information that is available, in on the mobile apps, where the specifically on the member portal applications. So having said that, we wanted to have a secured environment. So we had a opportunity to set up a private dedicated cloud specifically for the healthcare organization. And we also wanted to have these cloud in different places. Like, we wanted to have this in, there's a data center and access in the US, and there is a data center in India for offshore teams to kind of evaluate the application, right? So that's the solution. We have worked along with pCloud, and we had the platform in place. And with that, we were able to achieve 80% user base coverage for when we talk about having multiple devices, multiple operating systems, which we wanted to cover. And we also had the opportunity to do testing from a mobile standpoint, do manual testing, right? Use multiple devices, people engage in doing manual testing. And also, we built the automation, and we were able to seamlessly run the automation on the pCloud platform, like, the overnight runs that happen across multiple devices, and we were able to get the results, wherein we wanted to get to the market faster. So it kind of enabled us to push the release to the market quickly. And obviously the omni-channel experience we want to validate, right? So you have your application running on a web application, mobile application, a tablet, and multiple other mediums. Specifically, the UI level, the API level automation is something that we were able to achieve to this, right? And then most importantly, the cost, if you compare with a lot of other platforms that is available, it's definitely a cost effective solution that we have got. And like Nilesh was pointing out on the the crowd testing aspects. So we also wanted to make sure the user experience for the customer base is good. So we kind of utilize the device form to actually have people go in and then express their thoughts in terms of what kind of user experience they wanted to see. So they used the device from multiple devices and then evaluated that as well. So this is a kind of solution and value add that we were able to, or the benefits that we are able to achieve by utilizing pCloud platform. And it's been a wonderful journey so far. It's been 2 years since we have this partnership, and what best thing that I can see is, like, the functionalities that kept that the platform adds itself on a regular basis to something is amazing. So we were successfully able to deliver the product, and it's a fantastic case study that I wanted to share with you all. Thanks. That's pretty much from my end. Nilesh, over to you.
brief
Okay.
about.
Yeah. Thanks,
Yeah.
KP and Nilesh. Thanks for the wonderful presentation. Now let us jump to the Q&A session. Yeah, so a lot of questions, so I'll just pick a couple. So there is a question from Ranjit. So he's asking that how does PCloud help mitigate the risk on the healthcare data slash records? That's the first question. Nilesh, would you be?
Yeah. So can you repeat the question, please, once
So
for
there's
me?
a question from Ranjit. So he's asking how does PCloud helps mitigate the risk of having handling the healthcare data slash records?
Okay. All right. So basically, as we said that, if you're opting for a either private or on-premise cloud, we will be having a dedicated cloud setup for you. If it's an on-premise, of course, it will be behind your firewall, behind and within your premises. So the entire data will remain with you. If it's a private cloud, then we will be anyways having a dedicated cloud for you. We will be having a dedicated file server associated with this cloud, and no other clients, no other users will have access to this. That is one thing. Then we also have the data encrypted. The data which we are storing is encrypted data. And third thing is, even if you are having it for a private cloud, we will be still doing the cleanup there regularly. So
Okay.
I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, Ranjit, I hope Nilesh has answered the question. The second question, okay, Shivaramakrishnan is asking as to, he's asking how does PCloud help in the scenario where uh, the healthcare equipment talks over Bluetooth?
Okay. So to answer this question, we have already done one project with one of the SIs who is doing a project for a big healthcare company. So they have 4 or 5 different equipments which talks to each other. Of course, the end product which they will be launching will be having a single product there, but that actually communicates over Bluetooth with the application which is residing on the mobile. So they have kept, because it's a private cloud, they have kept the instruments within the data center, and their equipment was communicating with the Bluetooth on with the devices under test, and of course that particular device was holding the application which they were testing it. So this is pretty much possible. We have done it for quite a few clients, including the wristwatches nowadays which are coming, the digital wristwatches. Even for that, we have done this.
Okay, thanks, Nilesh. Uh, okay, there's one more question from Pallavi. She's asking, is Certifier available on both the platforms? And she's asking some more details on the Certifier part.
Well, Certifier is currently available only for the Android platform. It is not for the iOS platform at this moment. We are working on the iOS part. Very soon, it will be also available for the iOS. Uh, the other details about Certifier, I mean, it's a little open-ended question with the limited time frame which we have. But if you ask me, quick couple of things, Certifier will actually provide you the quick health check of your application and sanity, even without your manual intervention or writing a single line of code. You just need to submit your application, provide the test data, whatever typically you will be doing when doing the application testing manually with the device in hand, and then our bots will take care of the testing. And one of the bot which we have called uh, exploratory bot, which is having intelligence close to the human intelligence, which is backed by the artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities. This bot will do the testing as if a manual test engineer is doing a testing on the real device. It will understand how many applications you have, what application has, and then it will be it will do the testing. It will try to connect to each and every screen by following the logical workflows, and While doing so, it will also capture the screenshots. Now, the only challenge we are seeing it here is the bot will not understand whether the use case is pass or fail because you are not providing or feeding that information to the bot. So for that reason, bot will capture the screenshots after every valid step or use case and will provide to the users in terms of result with the help of screenshot. So as a manual test engineer, I just need to go there and look at the screenshot and take a call whether the test case is passed, the use case is pass or fail. I
Okay,
hope I have answered your question. But if you have, if you need further more information, we can connect back.
sure. In the interest of time, I think we'll have two more questions answered. So there is a ask from Deepak Prasad. His question is how to test memory leakage, performance, and security with pCloud.
Okay. So memory leakages, performance, and security. So performance is something which we have already seen here. I've shown you while doing a manual testing how you can see the performance of the application in terms of CPU, memory, battery, and the network data. So these are the parameters which we provide while you are doing a functional testing on the devices, be it manual testing or automation test execution. We provide you the CPU, memory, battery, and the network data at the application level for Android and at the device level for the iOS devices, right? So this is what you are going to get it, and it's pretty much simple. You have seen that. You just need to click on a couple of buttons, and you start getting that particular data next to the device. But when it comes to memory leakages and security, so security is something which we are not having inbuilt as such with these platforms. In case you have any security tools or the scripts written for the security things, you can actually use it. You can run it on pCloud devices, but we as such, pCloud as such, do not have any inbuilt feature to test security. Now coming to the memory leakages, so if you would have noticed that we are taking the application from you either in the form of APK or IPA files, right? And you are installing it directly there. So we are not taking any source code, we are not taking any, or rather we are not instrumenting your code. We are simply taking the executable code on the device and installing it, right? Since we do not have the source code with us, we cannot provide you the memory leakages as such. Now, when you are doing a normal functional testing, and if you are looking at the performance data which we are generating, like memory consumption, that will give you a kind of indication that there could be a memory leakage happening in your application. Let's say when you are doing some specific action, the memory is getting a big spike, and when you come back to the normal things, or when you push the application in the background, the memory is still not released. It's still showing a huge memory there. So that could be an indication. Of course, it's very raw, but that could be an indication to you saying, there could be a memory leaks in your application. So yeah, I mean, this is what the answer I would like to give to this question.
Thanks, Nilesh. So this will be the last question. The question is from Muthu Krishnan. He's asking, is it possible to automate his app in pCloud?
Okay, I mean, yeah, it is pretty much, we have seen the automation running there. So when the question is, can he automate his app in pCloud? So automation is pretty much possible. Now there are two things when we talk about automation. One is the automation test creation and automation test execution. I'm not very sure what Muthu is referring to, but if he's talking about automation test execution, it is pretty much possible. The code which we have seen on in the demonstration, what we have seen was all about the automation execution, right? So you can execute if you are already having the test cases with you. You can pretty much execute those on pCloud platform, and that too, you are going you're going to leverage the parallelism which we have implemented there. So you can just execute it on multiple devices parallelly. You can also distribute certain test cases on multiple devices parallelly if you want. So test execution is pretty much possible, and we have multiple test frameworks. I'm not very sure what framework Muthu is referring to, but yeah, we have the APM, we have Calabash, we have Espresso, we have Monkey Test. All these things are provided, so you can use any of this thing to execute your test automation on multiple devices parallelly. Coming to the second part of the automation, or the first part rather, is test case creation. Now, if you are referring to the test automation creation part, then I will say that it is supported on pCloud. We have a framework called OpKey. It's a product in itself which will help you to create the test automation cases very quickly. We have something called record and play, so you can just install your application on the pCloud device and start following the use cases. Whatever use case you have, just manually do the use case on that particular application on the pCloud device, and for each action which you are performing, we will be recording that workflow in the form of plain English keywords, and then uh, one can actually use that script to run it on multiple devices parallelly. So that's one thing to create the test automation. And second thing is, of course, you can, if you are using APM, for example, and you are developing the test cases on your local system. So instead of connecting a device locally to your local system to get the object elements on finding the object tree of the application, you can use APM desktop, connect to pCloud devices remotely, and get the entire object repository. So these are the two ways you can actually use to either create the test automation cases, and I have also already demonstrated the automation test execution part. So I hope I have answered the question, Muthu. If you have any other question, counter question on this, you can ask.
Okay. So thank you, Nilesh. Thanks. It was so nice of you to help them with the explanation. I think in the interest of time, what we could do is, if you have more questions, would suggest to send to info@pcloud.com, and we would be taking the questions offline and helping you with the brief. And thank you so much, Nilesh and KP. It was really wonderful, and I hope the folks present in the webinar were able to take the essence of this webinar session. Looking forward to connect again. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.